And joining us now to discuss the issue is Wojciech Przybylski, Editor-in-Chief at Visegrad Insight. Hello and welcome to TVP World.
Good morning.
So in the wake of this visit, there has been a choir of discontent from Poland's conservative right-wing media, all of them focusing on one issue, reparations, or rather the lack thereof. But is this a one-dimensional way of looking at it? Because there are also other things discussed. In other words, should we consider this meeting to be a failure, or should we take a glance at the broader picture as well?
Right. You cannot omit the question of political emotions that are around the question of repairing the damages Nazi Germany has done, and the sense of public memory, how Germany is investing in making sure that the relationship and the care for the Polish-German relations is indeed also taken care by Berlin. So Berlin brought a gesture of goodwill on their own initiative. They're building a new institution to commemorate and to bring to the attention of those visiting Berlin, especially German youth, the facts of atrocities that are not so present in the German public imagination as their guilt and responsibility for Israel and for the Holocaust from the Second World War. But I think we need to look into what this visit was about in the European context more broadly, and that is about building an initiative group in Europe to be able to navigate very stirred waters globally. And in that sense, it's amazing that we have a consultation meeting between the two very important governments in Europe. They are looking on the future of European Union, which is in the making with the new institutional cycle after elections. And we are having difficult talks on defense, and there is a mixed picture after this visit, and I'm happy to discuss both points.
Right, so following that thought, because that would be actually my next question, the joint security policies, like you mentioned, were also high on the agenda, I think. So how does now Poland envision Germany's role in enhancing this, the border security as such, and how does it compare to how Germany sees it?
I think there is a sense of disappointment from Germany on what Berlin was prepared to offer, what it is still putting on a table, and there is a sense of pressure from Poland, a consistent, stable pressure to have Germany put on the table European solutions for the defense. Poland expects from Germany to think European when it comes to defense, when it comes to financing the defense effort that Poland is already contributing on its own. Germany, as the most potent economy, at the same time has a very strong degree of fiscal conservatism, and Chancellor Scholz is far yet from admitting that Germany needs to pay for the whole of European defense effort that is needed for Europe to survive. And in that sense, there is a sense of disappointment. We've heard also critical remarks by Donald Tusk related to lack of concrete points that Berlin has yet not brought to the table. But Poland is pushing on and moving forward. There were discussions, of course, about the border protection and an investment of German personnel and an investment in the border, the Shield, the Eastern Shield initiative, that would help to limit also illegal border crossing and increase security of the border of NATO and EU along Baltic states and Poland with Belarus.
So speaking of security, the same outlets which criticized the visit for the non-specific approach to reparations, or compensation, we should probably call it at this stage, they also seem to present a certain degree of mistrust when it comes to Germany's involvement in the security plans. Now, why do you think that is so? Some people are saying, look, this is because Germany wants to empower its own industry. But, for example, the European Sky Shield initiative, that would require certain components such as the Arrow 3, which are not manufactured by Germany, they are manufactured by the US. So would you say that this is once again trying to pander to some sort of anti-German sentiments, or is there any merit to this criticism?
We have to differentiate what is the strategic narrative of Russia in this. And indeed, there is a lot of disinformation in the public underlying that there are some business interests, business lobbies, business defense interests, which are dictating the logic of the war in Europe and the attack of Russia on Ukraine. We have to underline this, that kind of narrative is predominantly, and it is identified also by East Stratcom as the anti-disinformation units within Europe and NATO as the Russian narrative, and we should be very aware of that. Germany and Poland and France are one of the most transatlantic minded countries. When it comes to defense, there's obvious investment and mutual interdependency between Germany and the US as much as Poland and the US, and there is a mindset and commitment also from other countries like France, as I mentioned, but several others. Most of the European countries are belonging to NATO. The most potent is, of course, Germany, and from the point of view of its potential, it is not delivering as much as it could, as other partners believe it could and it should, to make our security and defense plans realistic. So that pressure on German Scholz will take time, will take consistency, but it also requires calm and avoiding disruptive narratives to make effect. Let me remind you that on European policy, German Scholz, Germany's opposition overall to the debt that was during coronavirus pandemic was also strong, was also vocal, and eventually it has been overcome, and Germany can put on the table the proposal to fund the common response and recovery from common debt. There is a European debt that Germany once agreed. They are very reluctant to do it again, but I believe this is the objective overall.
And now perhaps looking at one of also other questions that was raised, I am talking namely about energy security. So it is also a critical issue for both countries, especially in the context of now reducing dependence on Russian energy supplies. And we've seen in multiple ways how both countries are dealing with that issue. But how Germany and Poland plan now to address this energy security challenge posed by the conflict in Ukraine, and was something tangible decided during that meeting?
Yeah, so Poland is ready to continue using its diversified network of supplies to help German energy production systems. I won't go into the detail. I'm not an energy expert, but in essence, what Poland has been building for a number of years was a more mature system in the sense in a diversified approach to energy supplies that is now essential for German security in the fossil fuel. The type of supplies that Germany was preparing to be fully dependent, nearly, or in majority, 2/3 dependent on direct Russia flows through Nord Stream 2. This has been proven to be a wrong bet, actually damaging for security of Europe. And I think Poland is here showing a helping hand and extending the support in our own interest, because our economies are intertwined and we need strong German economy, but also showcasing that we are investing in defense and we're leading the way forward also for Germany.
So this is what partnership is supposed to be about, also being able to learn from one another, including the mistakes that have been committed in the past. Wojciech Przybylski was our guest today here on TVP World. Thank you very much for joining us and for sharing your insight.
Thank you so much. And now, before we dig deeper into other subjects, and as we have the news lineup just in a couple of minutes, make sure to stay tuned for that. Now, before we have culture, so stay tuned here on TVP World.